check out our streaming schedule for this week. We've got tons of content in terms of the NFL and college football, as we're going live just about every single day this week. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single moment where we go live. And now, on with our feature presentation.
Hey, Patrick, what am I now?
Bad at in-game management?
No, I'm Mike McCarthy.
What's the difference?
He's back again, y'all. He's freaking back again. Everyone's favorite dumb decision patron saint is back. All hail Mike McCarthy. Blessed are they, the poor in decision-making, for they shall inherit this series. Earlier, I did a video about McCarthy and his atrocious challenge during the first quarter, where the Steelers recovered the football and literally walked away from the pile with the football and with no argument or contesting of it whatsoever. Yet the Cowboys challenged because they thought they had possession, even though the Steelers literally had possession by every definition of what the word possession means in any and every context. You can learn more about that by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And now, we are back for some awful timeout management. If you know Mike McCarthy, you know his clock management is something to behold. This game did start at 9:45 p.m. Eastern due to a 90-minute lightning delay, and this sequence happened sometime around 1 a.m. as a result. So Mike McCarthy becomes the first man to appear on this series for a decision that he made in the same game on 2 separate days. This is up there with one of his worst timeout decisions ever. Seriously, this was atrocious, and this was the true Mike McCarthy experience. And while that's the true Mike McCarthy experience, if you want the true NFL experience, then you've come to the right place. Because we talk about NFL history all the time on this channel, with a new video every single day, and a live stream every single day. So if you like that sort of stuff, then be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we post on the channel. Thanks in advance for your support as we try and hit 70,000 subscribers. Here's the situation this time when McCarthy did his thing and left many people getting noise complaints for yelling so loudly at 1 a.m. It's 2nd and goal, and the Cowboys have the ball at Pittsburgh's goal line down by 4 points, needing a touchdown in order to take the lead down 17-13. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, who struggled down by the red zone all night, the play goes nowhere, and could have been disastrous, as Rico Dowdle fumbles the football before Dak Prescott falls on it right around the 5-yard line. Alright, that could have been terrible. I think that goes without saying, that could have been absolutely terrible. However, as bad as that could have been, you've still got 3rd and goal at the 5. Pittsburgh only has 1 timeout, and they're not taking it. So if you're this man right here, Mike McCarthy, you don't want to call your timeout right away. It makes no sense to call your timeout right away. You want to kill the clock so that you can ensure the fact that you're touching the ball last, seeing as this is the final possession for you. You want to let the clock run down before doing something along those lines. Be patient, let the clock tick down, and...
Timeout, Dallas. All those black...
Are you actually kidding me? Are you actually freaking kidding me right now? You could have held onto the ball last, but now Pittsburgh is going to get it back with, oh great, 20 seconds left. 20 whole seconds left to do something. Genius. Absolutely genius. Coach McCarthy, welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work, and sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. We are a month into the season, people. We are not even at CBS Premier Week, and Mike McCarthy has been on Dumb Decisions count them, 4 times already. It should not be possible to be as bad at managing the clock as Mike McCarthy and at managing in-game decisions as Mike McCarthy. This was his 2nd dumb decision he made during this game, and this one almost cost the Cowboys the game. It didn't, because Justin Fields was anemic as the starting quarterback on the other side, but it almost did. And Mike McCarthy made yet another dumb decision in what has been a long line of them. Check the description or the pinned comment at the top of the video to find every single one of the 500 Dumb Decisions episodes centered around this man right here. This man is a national treasure for in-game stupidity. So with that being said, let's take a look at why calling a timeout with 30 seconds left instead of letting the clock run down is a really bad idea. At this point in the game, the Cowboys have 2 timeouts. Considering the fact that there are 40 seconds on a play clock and there's 30 seconds left in the game, this means that if the Cowboys do not score a touchdown, then the game is over, as the Steelers can just take a knee and get the heck out of there. So if you're the Cowboys, this is your last chance and your last possession of the game. There is no way to get the ball back after this. None whatsoever. Having said that, this is also a goal-to-go situation, and it's 3rd down. This means that there is a finite ending to the drive. There is a finish line. With 3rd and goal, there are only 2 more plays that can happen on this drive. You have the 3rd down play, and you have the 4th down play. And then, either you'll be in front, or you won't be. But either way, you'll have 2 more plays with the ball before Pittsburgh touches it. So if you only have 2 plays left, you want to use the clock in a way that ensures the fact that you'll get those 2 plays off, while at the same time, ensures that Pittsburgh, when they inevitably touch it again, does not have any time to work with. Because if you score a touchdown, the clock matters a ton, seeing as it can go down the field and tie the game with a field goal. And seeing as Pittsburgh is now calling timeout, you are in control of the clock. You are in complete control of the situation here. So let's say that you do the smart thing that any reasonable person would do in this situation, and you call your timeout with 10 seconds left, giving you 1 left for the remainder of the game. With 10 seconds left, you absolutely have time for 2 plays. If you score on 3rd down, Pittsburgh is getting the ball back with 5 seconds left, where they will either have to return the kickoff or try some pitchy woo-woo play that will inevitably fail, because they usually do. If you score on 4th down, that might be the final play of the game, and Pittsburgh will have no chance and no opportunity whatsoever to answer. If you don't score at all, the Steelers win, which stinks for you, but again, if you do score, the Steelers have no time whatsoever to do anything of note. If you control the clock correctly, since, again, there is no scenario where you will get the ball back if you fail no matter how much time is on there, then you guarantee the fact that you win the game with a touchdown. However, let's say you do what Mike McCarthy did for some reason, because it was past his bedtime at 1 a.m. on the East Coast when this happened. And let's say you call your timeout right away. As a reminder, if you don't score at all, the Steelers win. So the worst case scenario is exactly the same. There is nothing good that can come from not scoring. That goes without saying. But if you do score, you don't guarantee the win. If you score on 3rd down, Pittsburgh is getting the ball back with 25 seconds left at a timeout. They have time to call plays. They have time to use the middle of the field. They have time for 4 plays to the sideline to get into field goal range for Chris Boswell. It's going to be tough for them, obviously, but it's doable. You at least give them a chance. And if you score on 4th down, Pittsburgh is getting the ball back with 20 seconds and a timeout, assuming the Steelers don't take one on that play just to set their defense up. You get the idea. You do not need 30 seconds to run 2 plays down by the goal line. You just don't. If you were at the 15-yard line, different story, but down by the goal line, you don't need 30 seconds. So why would you call your timeouts in such a way? Why call your timeouts in a way that makes it seem like the clock is your enemy, when, in actuality, even though you're losing, it is your friend? You have 2 options. Let the clock run down before calling timeout to get 2 plays off, or don't let the clock run down before calling timeout to get 2 plays off. In the first option, you ensure that failure to score gives you a loss, while if you score, you're guaranteed to win the game. In the second option, you ensure the fact that failure to score gives you a loss. Well, if you score, you're not guaranteed to win the game, since the other team has plenty of time to do something and drive down the field to get a game-tying field goal. You're presented with 2 options. Both of them pose the same exact risk, seeing as you're getting 2 plays off no matter what. It's not like you're managing the clock and deciding whether you need to sacrifice 1 play call or something along those lines. Both options pose the exact same worst-case scenario, where failure to score gives you a loss. However, one option gives you a way better best-case scenario, seeing as one option gives you the win automatically, and the other option means your defense has to retake the field, and means that the game is not over by any means. So why would you not pick the first option? Coach McCarthy, dumb decisions king. Why would you not take the first option? What logical reason is there for you to do this? Same worst case scenario, same risk, same number of plays you're getting off. Why call the timeout right away? It is baffling. It is maddening. It really is insane how this man's brain works, where it seems like every time the Cowboys are in a close game in the fourth quarter, and he has to figure out what to do and how to manage the clock properly, he finds a way to screw it up and do the exact opposite of what you should do. He always finds a way. No one asked McCarthy after the game about the decision, seeing as it didn't end up mattering in the end, as the Steelers didn't do anything when they got the ball back, despite having plenty of time to go down the field. So we will never know the answer to this question. But once again, Mike McCarthy does Mike McCarthy things and bypasses a surefire option that every other coach would have done for the stupidest possible option on the table. And when it came to the decision-making by Mike McCarthy and this team behind me right here in the Dallas Cowboys, I could have gone even further back than that if I wanted to. The Cowboys got a first down with a goal-to-go situation with 52 seconds left, and they decided for some reason to burn their first timeout right then and there, even though if they scored a touchdown on the very next play, the Steelers would have gotten the ball back with 45 seconds left. I just decided not to put that in there for simplicity's sake so that it was easier to understand. But that was maybe an even worse decision than the timeout Mike McCarthy ended up using. It made no sense why on earth Mike McCarthy called the timeout in this spot. He keeps finding a way to screw up in situation after situation, and there was no reason that Pittsburgh should have had a chance to touch the ball again. None whatsoever, but Mike McCarthy somehow found a way. That's Mike McCarthy for you. So what do we learn from all of this? Just because you're trailing doesn't mean that the clock is your enemy. In some cases, like this one, it can be your friend. Knowing when the clock is your enemy, and knowing when the clock is your friend, and knowing the difference between the two and how to call the game is a big part of being a head coach. Something that Mike McCarthy clearly does not know how to do. If there is a finite ending to the drive no matter what, and you can only call a certain number of plays regardless of what happens, then recognize that. And recognize the fact that there is no need to rush when you do not have to. If you are presented with two scenarios that pose the same exact risk and that pose the same exact worst case scenario, but one of them has a significantly better best case scenario than the other, where you don't have to do anything different from a play calling standpoint, and where you can literally win the game, no questions asked, then by God, do that. Take that option. And if your name is Mike McCarthy, just start doing the opposite of whatever your instincts are telling you to do in clutch spots late in the game. Because I promise you, the way you're doing things now is not working. Plain and simple, it is just not working. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already, as it helps the channel out a lot. And check out my other channels, JG8 for the history of college football, JG7 for the history of baseball, and JG9 News, where we talk about all things happening in the NFL. Join me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll play live NFL trivia for cash prizes. And make sure to join me live, as we're on stream just about every single day. And thanks to all our Patreon members and our YouTube members for helping out the channel. See how you become a member and show your support financially in the description down below.